That's after.
Yeah, I mean, we started to walk around the corner. Next week, there smell something.
I got a question, I like it. The generator, nighttime what? So you're in the kitchen.
Oh, there we go.
No, not
I was over there. I had to start all night. I saw you looking interested, and I was not that happy.
Dude, everybody gets it.
Man, everybody gets it. But I really try not to
say something, you know, off the cuff.
Yeah, no, I just.
If I said something, you know, that offended anybody, I saw.
No, not even a little bit. That's the point.
I'm not like, we go down, we'll say.
I think we're going live right now, sir. We're live.
Yep.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt. We're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching our segment of Primetime Guitar Live that happens every Thursday. Chris, I'm wearing my hat again tonight.
You are. That's been missing from the program for quite a while.
I am feeling extra gray up here.
You're feeling extra gray.
Down
I'm
here.
feeling extra great. I think the secret to the down here is to not let it grow as long.
Yeah,
Only
but
for a little while longer, and then it'll just come out gray.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hadn't shaved for 3 days, and I got up today and I looked and I went, I don't look that bad until I looked really close, and then it was just all gray.
Yeah.
So,
Well, anyway, so we are right in the middle of our build and paint a fabric top guitar workshop. You guys are going to get to see one of them tonight. Is that right? Okay. And we have a shop full of people. We have Steve from Maximum Guitar Works is going to join us here in a moment.
I just found the drill that I was looking for all day.
Attachment
that
with said attachment
for rod.
So how are you? Do we have a spray bottle so I can spray people who talk during the live stream? Yeah. I like to spray them in the crotch. It looks like they peed their pants.
You spray one of those two over there. Yeah.
So how are you doing today? What
I'm
are
good.
you
Today was paint day, so I was in the paint booth all day for the most part.
I already know the answer to this, but how does everything look?
Fantastic. Yeah, they're really, really cool. Everybody did a really great job picking out fabric and sanding and making guitars, and they're going to be rad.
One of the things that we want to do you remember? Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back a little bit because we have not done fabric top or back or sides or whatever guitars for many years. I mean, we've done a handful.
We've done a few here and there.
But it used to be that was if you typed in fabric top guitar, you would see one of our guitars like instantly. That would be the only
still
one.
Happens. I wanted to last time I was hanging out with buddies that I don't hang out with all the time. I wanted them to type in fabric guitar and see if we popped up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people you associate with, blah, 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 da, da, da. But I'm pretty sure. Oh, my sister. Well, it's my sister. Somebody did it and we popped up and they're like, yeah.
So Jerry F has sent us a super chat. He is preempting our conversation and jumping to the next part of the conversation.
Okay.
And he says, this argument is getting old. How about any guitar made with any tools other than your fingernails and teeth has no soul?
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, I'm glad that you paid us $20 to say that. I hope it felt good.
Or an electric Badger.
Yeah. Now, I think, though, that when we get to the part
or
about
gas-powered Badger.
I think when we get to the part that Jerry is enthusiastically I don't know, commenting
taking
on
sides on,
he might be intrigued at what we have to show him today. So anyway, he also might be one of those guys who fell for it. Ha ha ha! You fell for it.
Although honestly, I think there was a time when
well, and I don't want to we're talking about fabric top guitars right now.
Oh, fabric top.
And I don't want to spill the beans, but me typing in what I typed in was really kind of a clickbaity thing. So if I have upset anyone with that, then you fucking fell for it. So ha ha ha. Anyway,
so fabric top. This is our second fabric top class.
Yes, that's right. It is.
Yeah. Somebody had to remind me.
Yeah. You just had to remind me too.
Yeah.
So, So, there was a time when we did lots and lots and lots of them. And I can remember exactly where I was when I thought I don't want to do any more of them. And that was at the 2019 Summer NAMM show.
Uh-huh.
And a couple people came up to me and said, "Hey, thanks for showing me how to do the fabric top stuff."
Uh-huh.
I did a bunch of them. And I'm like,
I actually remember that conversation, and I like that guy.
yeah. That guy was Chris
And
from
he's,
Relic Guitars.
Relic.
Very cool guy. And he made some stuff that looked super cool.
He did. He actually did some really neat looking stuff, and told a great pin router story.
That's right. Good
that
safety
we don't
tip.
use enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was at that point when I'm like, gosh, I wouldn't want to be a member of a club that would have me as a member. I wouldn't want to belong to any organization that have me as a member.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of decided to just, stop doing them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Let's take a quick super chat from Brad Hutchings, who is also jumping ahead. Do shoes made by slaves have any souls? Super chat bait. Thank you so much, Brad. Guys, I encourage you to stick around and wait until I get to the part of the live stream where we actually talk about CNC guitars.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to surprise some of you. So
Mhm.
yeah, but let me get there before you start, jumping down my throat about CNC guitars. And geez Louise. What do I have? Do I have powder on my face? What do I got?
Something it might be.
It's probably
some sort
cannoli
of
dust.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
There
just
you
going
go.
to roll with it. I don't
Yep.
care.
Looks better now.
Okay.
I couldn't take my eyes off it there for a second.
You can't take your eyes off me in general, though.
Good
So
Yeah, that's true. Uh-huh.
All right. Fabric top guitars before we were getting,
So fabric top, it's really fun. It's really cool. Unfortunately, we were commissioned to do some fabric tops that neither you nor me thought were overly nifty, which is kind of a thing. It's kind of like painting a guitar a weird color, or it's whatever. We got lots of reasons to not want to build a guitar, but
that's right.
Weird fabric. Wouldn't it be cool? No, it would not be cool. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool to use denim? No,
it would not be cool.
With the pocket?
No.
Or whatever it is. So we kind of burned ourselves out on fabric tops.
Let's talk a little bit about this for a second. What's the ideal fabric for a fabric covered guitar?
Mostly dark colors, but it can have some lively colors in it. So a lot of black, but maybe some bright orange, bright yellow, bright green, bright red, gold thread, or silver
thread. Always cool.
Always pops.
White will turn tan.
You can have a little bit of white, but it will turn the color of the wood underneath. Yeah, it's like a wet t-shirt.
Yep.
As soon as you start doing it.
Now, unless you are trying to go for a wet t-shirt theme.
And we've talked about that.
Yeah.
But we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am super excited to do the reveal tomorrow of everybody's fabric covered guitar. We do have one guy who's leaving early, but you're going to get to see his guitar tonight.
Yeah.
Is that right?
He had to, change his plans.
Yeah. Rod had to boogie out one day early. So he kind of jumped ahead.
We marched him forward a little bit.
Yep.
And he sort of worked solo today.
Yeah.
For a lot of it, but he's been here before and he knows what's going on and made a really cool guitar.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And
Absolutely.
but the funny thing is I kept counting, because there's six people that are doing the class plus us, so that's 7 guitars.
Yep.
And I kept counting and I could only get to 6 today. I'm like, where's the other one? And Rod he's already there.
He's already done. I can see it from here.
And it looks really cool. I like it a lot. So yeah, cool. So what do you want to do?
Well, why don't we get Rod up to show his guitar off? And while we are changing seats, let's take a couple of questions here. Ken says the fabric top guitar you did for me was amazing. Thank you, Ken. If you're really bad at woodworking, then you can definitely tell the difference between hand and CNC. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, stop jumping ahead. Rod, how in the hell are you, sir?
I am doing well.
What do you have here?
I have a simple guitar with a fabric top. I did just a raw, natural.
Yes.
Thank you. A natural back. Have a neck that was provided by Maximum Guitar Works.
Let's talk a little bit about the necks that are provided by Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. These things are kind of a version of what we had been making for Fender style guitars. And I'm going to just say it right now. I'm never, ever, ever making another Fender style neck again the old school way. I like these so much. Now, Steve did he helped us design this headstock, which I am truly, truly in love with. He laser etched the logo. He even put your names on the back.
Yep.
And he actually asked me, hey, do you want me to put my logo on the heel? And I said, Steve, absolutely, without hesitation, I want your name on the heel, because I'm proud I'm proud to have your neck be on the workshop guitars. So, okay. Anyway.
So one thing about this neck is it is a roasted maple, and I have not oiled it yet because I've got to take this apart and put it in my luggage and fly out early tomorrow morning. I do have some of Steve's Maximum Guitar Work oil at my house in Alaska, so this will be getting the oil treatment there, and obviously the roasted maple will pop and get darker and be very nice. So that's not showing here because I didn't oil it here in the class.
That's another thing. We've got a couple more, or we got Trevor's. Yours has a roasted maple too. If you guys really wanted to upgrade the necks, Steve has all sorts of upgrade options that he will do for us, because he's that kind of guy. And so anyway, so what do you tell us what you got here? The body was all done by you.
Well, it was partially cut out. The fabric top was glued on.
The fabric was glued on, and there was one round of sealer done. But other than that, you guys did everything else. So.
Sure. Got to use the pin router.
Mm-hmm.
Beloved pin router. Currently, this is just taped on. It's not screwed on, so I got the option of leaving the pick guard or taking it off.
So yeah, you could pull this up. There's no wiring race or anything. I guess where would it go?
No, the channel for the wiring is in the smaller plate there. So
cool. All right, so you've got one P90 that you wound.
Correct.
Okay. Now you did not wind that here with us. You were cool enough to let Jam Jimmy come in and wind pickups in your spot. You have your own winder.
I do.
So you wound that P90 before you got here, or did you wind it?
Yeah, no, I wound it before
Okay.
I got here. And
Okay.
Then, definitely wanted to support Dylan and him coming out here, so I definitely wanted to make sure that the reason he came out here was to help us out and do some business. So I offered Jim that opportunity, and took me up
Can
on
I
it.
come over there and give you a hug?
Look at this. It's a love fest here in the shop. So wait, so
You know,
Because if you're going to be embarrassed, I won't.
I'll definitely.
I won't be embarrassed. But Matt, as alluded to earlier, is a beautiful man. And so
I am a
If you came
beautiful
over
man.
here, I don't know who I'd want to hug.
That's right. So
Group hug.
So now you picked out a fabric that has like lots of oranges, and yellow and black, and lots of gold thread. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but let's get it in there, Rod. There you go. That thing is it's super, super cool. And you elected to bind it.
I did.
That was one of the things that one of the reasons that we started doing a lot of fabric tops was I have always loved like the paisley tellies and things. And, but I always wondered why they were never bound. And I thought, well, I'm going to figure out how to do one and bind it. And as soon as we did, I'm like, boom, we got to do a bunch with binding. So yeah.
Yeah. And then, you said that you were getting mahogany bodies.
Mhm.
So that's when I was like, well, I want black binding and have a natural wood.
It looks really good.
And then also the roasted maple neck here.
So a lot of the stuff that you have here is from a lot of our industry partners. Special thanks to Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, who is helping out with the necks. Hipshot Hardware, who we love Hipshot. Dan and Calvin at Tone Wood Experts supplied all of the Honduran mahogany. Dylan McCurchie, did everybody else's pick or assisted everyone else and did a workshop on winding your own pickups. Maybe you did that once with Dylan and you knew how to do it, or you just know how to do it. Okay.
The reason I bought the winder was you were having the class with Dylan,
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't make it out to that class, and I'm like, You know what?
I'm just going bomb
I'm
out.
going to wind a pickup at that same week. And so the week that he was
Mm.
out here winding pickups with the class was the week that I wound a pickup at home.
People
So-
do it, and you're a person, so why not?
Sure.
Why? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So then this time I got to come out here and meet Dylan and hang
Cool.
out with Dylan. And you know, we didn't wind pickups together, but it was
Yeah.
cool. I was glad to meet him.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then he took us, forced us to eat Indian food last night.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Forced
Dylan
us.
is watching or not, but yeah, I hope so. So he flew out at 03:30 this morning, and at least that's when I had to get up to take him to the airport. But so I'm thinking that he is going to be back in town. Is Dylan watching the thing? Oh, he is. Okay.
That was the plan. Is he was going to be home
To be able to, so everyone tune in and watch Dylan later on here in about 45 minutes. We'll shut up and we'll go over to Odyssey Beer Works, the great American beer works, and drink beer and then you can watch Dylan. Yeah, unless you come to Odyssey Beer Works too.
So who's up?
Well, I think we're gonna get Steve from Maximum Guitar Works up. Is that right, Chris? So okay, so as I have been,
class, Rod.
Yeah, Rod.
What was that?
I said good to have you back in class. Sorry to see you have to leave early. Well, thanks.
so I have been a long time proponent of using the old school vintage tools to build guitars. And in fact, I still do that. That's just kind of my thing. And I probably talked a lot of smack about CNC guitars. In fact, I know I talked a lot of smack about CNC guitars, and I didn't really quite understand what was what the everything was all about. So now since then, I have my own CNC machine and I use it for inlay. And it works great. But Steve has a great big CNC machine, and Steve has kind of shown me a lot of the what's possible with a CNC machine. And we have something pretty exciting to talk about. Yeah. And it's something that you guys are really going to dig in 2023. Now, we're going to talk about it, but Steve, thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us. It's always good when you come over. What's been going on in the we all have 24 hours in every day. You seem to be able to do a lot more with your 24.
Yeah, I seem to use
than I do.
I seem to use about 19 of them and things other than sleeping. But
how have you been, man?
I've been good. I've definitely been busy. A lot of different things going on. A lot of different projects. The business is kind of finding a new path.
Sure.
And I mean, obviously, still supporting a lot of the things that really kind of put us on the roadmap. Like with the templates and things like that. But
can I tell you, everybody in the workshop this week used Maximum Guitar Works template, and it's like the easiest thing in the world. If you are not using a CNC machine to make your body or your neck, I can think of no other equipment that I would rather use than these things on the wall here, that the wood ones, they're just for show. I never use them anymore.
Yeah.
So all of my Maximum Guitar Works templates, and I think I have every single one you've ever done. I have those in the wood shop where I do all the woodworking, right, and hence the name. And it's like stuff just kind of plops together. It just sort of works exactly perfectly right every time.
Yeah, well, everyone's probably heard the story now, but I mean, I designed them for the students I was teaching in the community college because I got frustrated that they were struggling with alignments, and forgetting to do something within the proper order of operation, and then they couldn't go back and do it because the way they were affixing it on there, they couldn't get it in the same position to do it. Without at least a lot of struggle and stuff. And that's where these were born from. And I had no intention of selling them to the general public, but the demand was there and my need for cash flow was there. So it just worked.
Yeah.
So
Calm Cross the Chile says, when Steve turns up, the guitar world moves on. I think what I don't know exactly what that means, but I think that means that you are pushing the envelope forward for guitar builders and what you can do, no, regardless of what equipment that you have. So yeah, you have lots of good products. We use really every single thing that you make. We use the templates, we use your necks, we use your oil finishes, we use a lot of your controls, we use wood from Maximum Guitar Works.
Sure.
But we've got a new thing that we want to talk about that I am very excited to tell you guys about.
It's crazy.
I think it could work though. I think this could be a really neat thing for 2023. I don't know exactly when. I don't know exactly what, but the gist of it is tell us what are your thoughts on what we're going to do?
Well, the gist is that we combine the and collaborate a little bit in your workshops to provide an upfront time for your attendees to come out to my shop and actually see their body and neck being manufactured on the CNC.
So what we're thinking of is, like, say, for the sake of conversation, a very Stratocaster intensive workshop. And you would go out to Steve's place on, let's just say Monday, and you would see your chunk of wood get machined and you would into your body, and you would see your chunk of wood get machined into the neck, and you would get to do it all. And you would get to do all of that stuff on day one.
Yep.
And then you would come out here to my shop and we would do frets and finish work.
Yep. Electronics.
Yep.
All that other stuff.
And then we'd have Dylan come out and you could wind pickups, and then we put it all together. I think that would be super, super cool.
I think it's a total experience because, you know, you're going to get into talking about the CNC stuff, and there's certainly advantages time-wise, repeatability and things like that are pretty incredible. But the whole point of a CNC to really is to multiply my time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. The problem is it's so easy to stand and watch it.
Yes.
because you just,
even our little CNC machine.
It's like you get drawn into the movements and watch it do what it's doing.
It's a whole choreography.
And that's where I thought that it would be kind of cool to, I mean, obviously I've been making your necks now for a while for these workshops, but to see it go from a raw blank, you know, to
it's pretty
being
neat,
machined and being glued up, and then they can take it and they can finish the shaping and sanding or whatever.
It's pretty remarkable what the machine does. And I got to tell you, like I say, as a detractor of CNC guitars for a long time, I have had to eat a lot of crow and a lot of hats, because I tell you, I mean, I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And so what do you have here, Steve? This could be an example of what you could do at one of these workshops. Let's say it'd be the Strat workshop.
Yeah. So I've been working on a lot of different projects, and so this was one that I was experimenting.
Chris, will you hand me that other one? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and the neck's not bolted on. So
okay, I'll be careful.
Right in front of you.
And the neck's not bolted on.
Yeah, it's just fitting there. But anyway, so these were parts that I was testing out some things with, and they went really well, but they weren't part of the final process that I wanted. I was still tweaking, but I sanded them up and they turned out so nice looking. And I had some extra necks because I made some extras for your workshop one time.
This is a way for Steve to sell me more stuff.
Yeah. And it works, I think. But no, and I had those, and I thought, well, wait a minute, let me see if I can pair up a couple necks with these bodies, and maybe it's something that you'd want to take.
Because we've been talking about this workshop for about a month now. Yeah.
And use it, finish it, sell these guys, but use it maybe as promotion for what we want to do next year. And I thought it could be really cool. So I brought those with me tonight, and so you could check them out and everybody could look at them. And
well, I dig this. Let's see if we can. So this one is a rosewood neck, kind of a vintagey strap body with I say vintage because it has the 6-hole bridge. I don't know, what. Let's take a quick super chat from Ken, who says, as far as contour of neck, what percentage would you say is complete right off the CNC machine. Well, Ken,
That's right off the CNC machine.
this is right off the.
There's been no sand. It's a snug fit too. No sanding to that whatsoever.
I don't know if you can see it. There are some machine marks,
Mhm.
some, but very, very few.
And it's a trade-off of time, okay? Because you're doing it with a ball nose bit. And it's based upon the interval that you program into that. The tighter the interval, the less sanding you'll have to do. But the more time it will take for the machine to run. So it's a balance. And I think I found a balance that is pretty tight where honestly, I don't even start off sanding. I take a card scraper and I knock off the ridges first, and then it's like 10 minutes of sanding and it's ready.
Yeah. It's very quick. Now you can sand and sand and sand and sand right over the dam on these if you want to, but you could attack it with 220, and I would say in less than a half hour you'd have a neck that's ready for oil.
Oh, easy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so what do you have there? Which one? So we have kind of a matched set.
Yeah.
here.
So these are sisters, right?
Uh-huh.
So we got the rosewood and we got the maple one. They all have the same neck profile. They're all, built the same way with the Bitterroot truss rods in them. They are set up for
I forgot to mention that. Yeah. Bitterroot is still supplies all of our truss rods, and you use them in our necks. You also have some other truss rods that you could, if you wanted, but I like the Bitterroot rods so much. And that was, I remember saying, Steve, can we make them work with the Bitterroot rods? Yeah. And you came up with a pretty elegant solution.
It works well. And these are all set up for the Hipshot open back locking tuners.
Okay. Oh yeah. Cool.
On there. So they're all preset, ready to go. And both alder bodies. I mean, you could go anywhere with them. These both, I think, have pretty nice grain to them. So it could be a transparent or it could be an opaque, type of finish or whatever. But yeah, we got two sisters here that probably at some point, not too distant future, will be offered up.
I think what Chris and I are going to do is we're going to come up with some ideas for what maybe people would like. And I would like to know what you guys think of this workshop. What would you like to do in the 5 days that we have? So one day or more, you would go to Steve's and you would do a body on his CNC machine. Let me ask you, and I don't know the answer to this. What could they pick? Like, would they get this, or could they do rear route, or could they do what are the?
Well, we could set up for a lot of different variables.
Okay.
A lot of them I already have, already programmed out and things like that. So we could, between now and then, we could kind of develop maybe a choice, a selection there, because of the time factor, and we want to kind of just run these through, and it's the experience itself. We may not want to initially, maybe later, but not initially get complex, with carved tops and set necks and stuff like that, but keep it more.
So let's say though,
simplified.
if we did the first one was Stratocaster workshop, what you could do? Obviously this setup,
the rear route. Is that what
could you do humbuckers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything like that. We have a rear route version of this. Also, we have a template. Basically, a lot of our template sets that we have
can be plugged in.
We're going to be plugging in if we haven't already.
Okay. So I would imagine some of the more obvious ones would be this guy, 2 humbuckers with no pick guard,
Swimming
something
pool
like
route.
that. Okay, you could do that. All right. Trim or hardtail. Okay. Someone's going to ask, Floyd Rose.
Floyd Rose is doable.
Okay.
Obviously, there's more complexity.
Yeah.
With that. But machining wise, it wouldn't make a difference. But obviously, it could affect how we do the neck and things like that too.
Okay. So let's talk about the neck. So one of the things that you would get to do is body. And then if you said, hey, I would really like to have a mahogany body. As long as we know ahead of time.
Yeah, we can source whatever.
They can. Okay. So then they get to pick some neck components, and obviously maple with maple or maple with rosewood would be the traditional choices.
And like your class, I mean, anything that's on our website that we offer, would be easy to offer in conjunction with this too.
So like if you want a spoke wheel, truss rod,
they could go through our build the neck part of the website, and they could click everything, and you could put it in the cart and then just print it out and send it to you,
Mhm.
you know, and then that would be what they want, you know, when they get here.
Let's take a couple of questions here, Steve. Joshua wants to know, does this seem insanely close to a kit? Well, in a way, yes, and in a way, no.
Mm-hmm.
It is very close to a kit in that it is mostly done.
Mm-hmm.
It is nothing like a kit in that it is very well done. So it's sort of like saying, well, if you called up Warmoth, is that a kit? Well, I guess aren't most Strats a kit, or most Fenders are a kit. I think kits are kind of the way that a lot of people get started building instruments.
And I know they're popular in a sense, what they're calling wood only kits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so they're it's like this. It's only wood.
By the way, people have asked me numerous times, do you sell kits?
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
But maybe this would be a way for those people to, dip their toe in.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I'm going to approach that because I mentioned the business is kind of going in a little bit of a different direction, but you know, without name dropping or anything, because I can't. But I'm getting a lot of OEM build requests.
That's very cool.
You know, and so and there's names that I could throw out there that people would recognize, but you know, I'm under non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that. And so it's kind of moving that direction, which is really cool because I get to just continuously build and build and build.
You know what's neat about this, and to the point of Josh, who wanted to know is kit. If you go to the MIT school in Nashville, this is exactly what you get.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to the Fender Custom Shop, you could put together something like this. It's a kit, but it's a kit that is based on a very popular, wildly popular, in fact, very traditional design. And this one is done beautifully. Guys, if you are familiar with any of the Amazon stuff, any of the kits that are $99, this is not not that. And if you want to talk about a guitar that has a soul, this actually has a soul because you'll get to do a bunch of the stuff to it. And it starts out, and Steve, what do we always say?
It starts with
get
excellence.
Drunk. Yes, start with excellent.
Oh no, I say that, not we.
Yeah, start with excellence and finish with a cold beer. So yeah, all right, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but here's the difference. Okay. So yeah, you could buy a wood only kit. And I guess there's some manufacturers out there, I'm not as much up on that part of the industry, that are making some decent quality stuff. However, what we're talking about is creating the experience
Exactly.
of seeing your body and your neck actually being machined and manufactured. Okay. Take pictures and video or whatever, because it's something you're going to want to hold on to.
You know what? That's actually perfect, because if you are one of those guys who that's what you're into, a 1%er guitar player, and who wants to actually get in on the experience and be a part of the fraternity of guitar building, this is for you. Now, it's not for 99% of the people.
No,
that's okay, and that's okay. Guitar Center is open at 10 o'clock. They'll be happy to sell you whatever you want.
Yeah.
But what this is a way to really make something extraordinary. Any of the workshops that we have.
And right. And that's my point is, when you have the workshop, you know, is it about necessarily building a guitar? For a lot of people, I think it's about coming together as the community and creating the experience of building the guitar. Okay. Because yeah, you can buy a guitar, you can buy it, you know, all different price points, all different locations. You can have someone hand make one for you, but it's the experience of being involved in the process, which I think is the cool thing that people remember when they leave here.
And I think that's what gives any musical instrument a soul.
Yeah.
Not whether it was made 70 years ago in a factory, or whether it was made 7 hours ago in a factory, or somewhere in between in someone's garage.
My daughter has the first guitar I ever made.
Yeah.
And I've told you this story.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it was a Telly, and I made a desk, a knotty pine desk, when I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
You know, when they had wood shop in high school. Right. And I carried this from house to house all across the country. And my daughter was probably, I don't know, 10 years old, 8 years old or something like that. And it was in her room. And one day I come in there and her name is carved into the top of this desk that I made when I was a freshman in high school. And I was a little bit upset about that. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a little bit OCD.
You have a little bit of that going on.
Okay. But I got over it, and she lived through the experience. And so anyway, when I decided to build my first guitar years later, we had moved one more time and the desk didn't fare very well. And I decided, okay, sentimental stuff's going out the window. I'm disassembling it, but I kept the top.
Yeah.
And I made 2 guitars out of the top, but the one I made for my daughter, and I saved the spot that had her name carved in the back, and I filled it in with epoxy,
Okay.
And then I completed the guitar and I gave it to her. Now I struggled because it was my first guitar, electric guitar. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but it's the memory of the experience of that desk and the conflict of her carving into my desk. And we created something for her that she treasures.
That's cool. Yeah.
And that's the experience that we're talking about when you come to a workshop like this.
Yeah. Yep. And I think this is going to have a place where, not everybody wants to come in and get covered with dust and crap in the wood shop, or you know what, they might say, I don't know if I can do the neck carving. I don't know if I can do the body carving. I want to have it done on a CNC machine, or I want, this is also very likely, I want one of Steve's bodies and necks. I mean, I think that's cool.
Well, here's the trade-off again. It's time, right? So like the classes I was teaching at the community college was a 16-week class. Now, granted, they're, only coming out there for 10 hours a week or something like that, but that's 160 hours.
Yeah.
And so you're creating the experience here in a very compressed time frame. So you can't do everything that you would do in a very long, like the program you went to way back in the day, right? You can't do it. So, but you can still create the experience in a shorter period of time, and have just as much satisfaction from it, from seeing and being part and witness of the whole process.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a cool offering. And of course, we're still going to offer our fabric top guitars and our Build a Classic fenders using Maximum Guitar necks, and our Build a Classic woodworking workshops. Brian Duncan and his son, they went through that. Doug and Dave and Michael and Don, they've all gone through it. Rod, and it's a really excellent experience.
Yeah.
And at the end of it all, you get something really, really cool.
You can treasure. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I would like to know what you guys would like to see in one of these workshops. If you think that going out to Steve's and kind of getting an idea of what a CNC machine does. And the reason I side like that, I think that there are CNC machines and then there are CNC machines. And if you guys could see Steve's factory, it's very, very different from what you see on most YouTube videos of guys who have a small, but capable, but small CNC machine. There's something pretty magical about seeing if you ever wanted to see what a $200,000 CNC machine looks like building a guitar body, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I don't have one. I don't have plans to get one. But
you have me.
But I'll just spend money on gas to drive out to Steve's place. So yeah, I think it's a super cool idea, and I'd like to know what you guys think too. So we're going to be offering that. We're going to be coming up with some ways to make this work, and I think Chris and I are going to finish these guitars up, and who knows, we might even use lacquer on these, right, Chris? Wow. Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah. So so I think these are very vintagey styled, with the exception of they are cut for Hipshot tuners, which I'm perfectly fine with. And one other thing that every guitar should have, either binding or blind frets. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this neck, I don't want to drop the neck. This neck has blind fret slots.
Yeah, I might be able to see the maple here better.
Yeah, so there's no lines going all the way through. meaning that your fret job can be excellent. So yeah. Anyway, let's see if we have any other questions. Wow, Matt warming up to a CNC. Who knew? You know, I have made a number of videos where I talk about CNC machine. In fact, there's a video that I made 2 years ago that called the video I never thought I would make, where I showed you guys my small CNC machine.
That's a good question on how much machine time goes into body and neck like that, and compare it to what it would take us to do it without it.
Okay, that's a great question.
Can I answer?
Come on over, Chris. In fact, I'm gonna put this away. Come.
No, I don't.
Just come sit.
Can
Come
I
sit.
ju-
Come
can I
on.
ju-
No, just come sit. Come on.
Come on, man.
Because it's sort of a jerky master.
So how much time does it take to do this with your CNC machine? None of your business, right? That's not really the
Yeah.
equation. That's it's your knowledge. It's your time programming. It goes pretty fast.
Yeah.
It goes really
takes-
slow on some machines. On yours,
it takes me
not very long.
It takes me probably 40 hours to perfect the first body.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Chris,
Yeah,
on-
yeah.
on comparing it to class time so that we could spend more time on other things is what I'm trying to say. The way this
Okay.
question
Oh,
came across
you're the
to
one that
me-
asked the question?
No, I didn't ask it, but the way it was asked, you know, it's
Yeah.
like saying, well, you know, because when we make
Uh-huh.
our body and we make our own neck, that's
Mhm.
over 2 full days of work that now we have to do. Now we have less time for finishing, less time for little tweaks or things we want to do to make it different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think I like the idea of spending more time on custom things for ourselves in a sense of the paint that, you know,
Uh-huh.
that we don't
Yeah.
have time for because we're hand grinding out these necks.
Yeah, yeah. So Matt and I are pretty fast at making bodies. We're pretty fast at making necks. We can't make them as fast as his CNC machine can do them, but we can make them way faster than our CNC machine.
Yeah, but I'm
can
not
do
talking
'em.
about you. I'm talking about us. We're not
Right.
as fast as you and Matt.
Right, exactly. So it depends on who's making it, and you know, also the learning curve of the tools. You know, we sort of walk you into all the tools when you're here. You know, we don't just go, okay, here's a big giant 1/2-inch cut, go for it. It's, you know, we kind of walk you into it. So yeah, your CNC machine is really fast.
Yeah.
But when things go sideways, they go sideways and you throw that piece away.
Oh yeah, things can go bad really fast.
Yeah.
You know, the faster, the more powerful any tool is, the more you can destroy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so but and even like your pin router could destroy stuff if you don't do it right pretty quick, I imagine.
It
Yeah.
has, yeah, but at least we're like there watching it.
Yeah.
You walk away and next thing you come back and
Yeah.
yeah, it's all blown apart and you're like,
It's
oh,
never
okay.
never a good experience.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
anyway, it does save a lot of time from a builder standpoint. But to me, again, it's about consistency and repeatability and the efficiency of doing something that is just really fun to do.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's build guitars. In the end, this is going to be something that somebody's going to play and they're going to enjoy it. And that gives me satisfaction when I get the stories back from guitars I've built and they're saying, man, this is my Les Pauls don't come off the wall anymore. You know, this is the only one I'm digging with anymore. That's the kind of stuff that really gives a guitar builder satisfaction.
Yeah. And looking at this, as nice as this is right this second,
Yeah.
there's still a ton of human time
Oh, there is.
that's going to go into this.
Yeah,
before it's done.
There always is. It's you know, it's nothing. I think people get the misconception that we'll just throw it on the CNC, you know, but they don't understand all the programming time and the knowledge that goes into it, and then the tool paths. And there's good ways to run tool paths, and there's not so good ways for both from a machining standpoint to get surface finish as best you can, but also from a time saving standpoint. You know, how can I do this with a different style of bit or things like that to make this pass in one pass rather than using 1,000 passes with a little tiny ball nose,
Yeah.
you know, bit
yeah.
and stuff like that. So, but in the end, it's all for the same purpose and goal. It's just the way you have to become more efficient in order to survive.
Yeah. yeah, there's not a huge workforce here in the U.S. that's willing to do hand sanding and hand shaping and all of that.
Hand guitar
At this
building.
point,
And
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, I thought about this many times. How many guitars can I make? And what could I sell them for? And can I survive?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it becomes difficult. So this is a
Uh-huh.
technology, and it's a melding. I don't think you could take just a pure nerd who's never built a guitar before.
Oh,
And-
I thought for a minute you were talking about me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you said Fender nerd.
Oh no,
Yeah.
pure nerd. You know, to program it in and have something on the same par of a true craftsman. You know, who knows how to do it. He knows what feels right. You know, and things like that. And obviously, the finishing process is a nemesis probably to many people.
I think everybody. I don't know anybody that's like, I got that shit down cold.
Yeah, it's
Every time I do one, it's perfect.
it's
This
That's
is
for sure.
this is really nice.
yeah, they're yeah. Anyway, that's why I
Cool.
brought him over.
All right, switch.
Okay,
All right.
rotating.
Good time here. It seems very somber. What happened?
I don't know.
I don't know. Look at this. I had this in my back pocket all day.
Hey. So Brad Guitar Miller says that the building is a big part of the workshop, but the overall experience is the best. Steve's necks are great, and Matt cheering you on is the best. So I did kind of cheer Brad on and convinced him he could do it. While you and Chris were talking, Steve, I was thinking there are, and to your point, Doug, I think I would rather have people spend a day or 2 days doing frets and really getting them perfect than a day or 2 days and working over a body or getting a neck profiled right. And maybe some guy, this would be another thing that could be a selling point for some people. Well, I don't want to make my own body. I don't want to make my own neck, but I do want to learn how to do frets. I do want to learn how to do, cut a nut. And I want to have a guitar when it's all said and done. So, that's a great experience there.
That's a valuable skill, being able to do a really good fret job.
Regardless of whether or not you build another guitar again, you're gonna come through. You're gonna go through life and find guitars that maybe don't have such hot frets.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever shared this story to your audience, but I had a pretty sizable guitar collection at some point in time. I still have.
I remember a lot of it.
Still have a lot of them. And I was taking my guitars to a local shop to do work on them. And what I was paying for the fret, and then calculating how many guitars I had, and I wanted them all worked on, saying, okay, I got to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into it first, is say, I have to learn how to maintain my own guitars, and fretwork being the primary thing. And then it took from one thing to another. I began modding guitars, and I realized, hey, I can build these.
Yeah.
And it just kind of snowballed from there.
And people have a journey through guitar playing and guitar repair and guitar building that's different and unique to them. And what worked for me may or may not work for anybody else in the world. Same for Steve. So if what gets you into building guitars and being part of this very, very excellent lifestyle is kits or modifying guitars that you buy at Guitar Center, or starting with a big chunk of wood and whittling it down from there. I don't really care, as long as you're doing it. That's what I like.
But I will tell you about the workshops that you do. I will guarantee, if you're just embarking on this bucket list, whatever, you will have less frustration doing it in an environment like this, than learning all of the mistakes on your own. It's like you don't have enough time probably to learn every single mistake that collectively you and Chris have
already made. Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
No, it is true.
That's
Yeah.
how we all
I don't
learn.
fail. See, at home I fail, and here, even if we fail at something, they don't let you fail. So you're still leaving with this great guitar.
Exactly.
So there's a difference. If somebody's so worried about wanting to to work on the neck, maybe they can come back. You know, the neck you gave is a little chunky for some guys.
Mhm.
They might want to bring it down a little bit, so they could still work on the neck. This isn't. I love the fact that the body's done, because the body work is just a lot of hand scraping and sanding. Why do I want to do that? I mean, when I could
build a guitar,
I'd rather learn to paint.
Yeah,
because that's the hardest part of the
It
damn
is the
guitar.
hardest part. Yeah.
and an important part.
And you know, just because I've acquiesced on my thoughts on CNC instruments doesn't mean that I'm changing the way that I do things.
No.
I still, because I'm a carpenter, I still do stuff with the tools that I have, and because that's what I really like.
Mhm.
Chris, I don't think it really matters to you whether we use a CNC or not, since you don't do, you do mostly finish stuff. And it's like, as long as it's sanded properly, I don't care. Right. I mean, yeah. So, so as far as the way that I do something, I've carved a small niche for myself that is essentially me doing stuff on the old school equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. And for some people, that's kind of the deal. They want me to make their neck one off, one at a time. For some people, they don't want that. I totally get that. I'm not going to try to convince someone that what I do is the best. That might not be the best for them. So yeah.
I got this old saying that I've used on some of my past videos, but really people need to kind of pay attention to it, because it relieves the pressure of, well, you have to do this way or that way. And the saying I would use was, if it works for you, it's right for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different ways to accomplish this. Even if you talk about a CNC, how I built my hold down fixturing and stuff like that is going to be different than probably most other people.
Sure.
You know, but it works for me, and the way you do things works for you. Yep. Therefore, it's right for you.
Yeah.
You know, and if a guy wants to build it with his teeth and just gnaw the guitar away, and that works for him,
that seems to come up a lot. Why don't you use your fingernails and your teeth? Well, come on, it's a pretty absurd thing.
I think that's said in jest.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So anyway, well, we are just about ready to head over to Odyssey Beer Works, the great American Beer Works. I would like to thank Steve from Maximum Guitar Works for hanging out with us and helping us with all of the necks that we've been using in this workshop. Steve, as always, these necks are super, super cool, and they're ready to go as is. And just enough of the stuff is done to where the guys can have a really excellent neck when it's time to leave, and can focus on stuff like fretwork and getting the nut exactly perfect and stuff like that. I would also like to thank Dan and Calvin at Tonewood Experts, who've supplied us with all of the wood that we're using for this workshop. John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars, who did all the truss rods, came from there. If you guys like deals, you can get a deal from John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars by typing in TXTOAST at checkout, and you get 15% off. If you like wood that they have over at Guitar Wood Experts, you type in Texas Toast 15 at checkout, and you get 15% off there too. If you want to save some money on some of Steve's templates, you can sign up for one of our workshops. All those come with a discount from Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. And who knows, maybe Steve will even come and hang out with us for a little bit. That's always cool. Let's see. Who am I missing? Our newest sponsor, Brad Guitar Miller, who has a bunch of cool guitar building tools and guitar parts, specifically some telly plates with angled switches that are very, very excellent. Thank you to Brad Guitar Miller. Dylan Pickups. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention just right now that one of the things that happened in this workshop was that Dylan McCurchie from Dylan Pickups came out and wound pickups with all the guys. If you are interested in winding your own pickups, learning how to do that, we've got a bunch of workshops on how to do that with Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone. If you want to just have Dylan make a set of pickups for you and you want to save a little bit of money, you can do that in the comment section below. These two clowns. You can do that in the comment section below and save a little bit of money, and we even make a little bit of change off of that deal too. Dylan Pickups, Dylan and his lovely wife Leslie are super, super cool people. Of course, Chris and Dina at Odyssey Beer Works, which is where we're heading after this. And of course, our regular sponsor, Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. The guys at Flipside are still doing, they're still in the legacy shop for the rest of the year. and they will be moving into the destination spot first of the year. Someone is pointing at something, and I don't know what I'm forgetting about. That's right. My fret guy Nigel Forstner, all the way in Queensland, Australia, who has a really excellent what would you call it, like an ebook about how to make money or what it's like to earn a living in the woodworking industry. And of course, every paycheck's a fortune, every day is a holiday when you're a woodworker. So yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys for hanging out with us. And Steve, what else do you have on the horizon, do you think?
I got some new jigs that I've been developing that are coming out probably pretty shortly, which could be handy. One, I have still a lot of work to do. I got to squeeze it in, but I think everybody's going to dig this. And it's a jig that actually creates a miniature overhead pin router to do fretboard inlay.
No way.
With the templates obviously provided by me that work directly with it to create whatever inlay, standard and or custom, inlays and stuff.
So
like that.
you're going to make a CNC thing to make a pin router.
To make a mini pin router that uses like a 1-horse router.
Okay.
Plunge type router.
Cool.
I'm doing my tests with like a Makita. That's pretty affordable. But this is going to be pretty cool. And not this other thing, not for everybody that actually is ready to launch, because I've completed it for a gentleman. And that's a scarf joint jig for
cool.
people that want to do scarf joints but have trouble, getting them perfect. It's going to be a router based jig that I'm going to offer in 7, 10, and 13 degree angles.
Okay. 7 is the one true and holy. Although for a scarf joint, that's going to put it way back here, isn't it?
Well, it could put it in any of two places.
I guess it could
the
be
classical way, or the standard way back here. But I've kind of gravitated to the more traditional electric guitar way to do it. I used to like doing it this way when I was doing a lot of veneer laminations to the neck and things like that. But I think having the fretboard over top of that is solid. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're going to go get our swerve on. It's going to be a big table at Odyssey Beer Works, but it's going to be fun. So thanks for hanging out with us. Stick around for Dylan and Leslie at Dylan Talks Tone. They're going to be closing us out for this 3-hour long prime time guitar. We will see y'all tomorrow for a very excellent fabric top build workshop reveal. You've already seen one of them. We've got 6 more to show you, and they're all super excellent. So we'll see you then. Until then, have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh.